Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James. It's time for another personal game of mine. Alright, this time I'm taking on a local favorite. This is Don Flournoy, a very aggressive chess player, so I was surprised when I played my Sicilian that he plays the Maroczy bind. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. E4, C5, knight f3, E6. I'm going to be going ahead and playing the con variation. D4, C takes D4, knight takes D4, pawn to A6, and well, here he's surprising me with again by playing the C4. Now this is definitely a great line to play against mine. By all means, I'm very happy to be binded, if you will, because I know how to play these positions. And a lot of people I do see play this as white, well, they don't know the best plans with it. They know the setup, but they don't know the best plan. Alright, let's see how this goes. Knight f6 attacks the pawn, knight c3 defends. Queen c7, one of the big ideas is to hold on to this e5 square and not let it fall. Pawn to a3. An interesting move here. I wouldn't say it's the best, but the idea is to stop bishop b4. That's okay. I wasn't planning on playing bishop b4, but it is an interesting move nonetheless. Bishop b7, bishop to e3. Good development here for white. d6. Probably a little premature here, but I was just playing some filler moves. I didn't want to castle too soon. As I've known Don, he can really just start pushing his pawns forward, not even caring about his own king safety and just attack you. So, just playing some safe moves that need to be played anyways. Bishop b2, knight b to d7, and then whenever he castled, well, I went ahead and castled too. Well, I do want to point out why the knight does go to d7 here for black. The reason being is that, well, let's say you go ahead and just place the knight to c6 here instead. Well, there's going to be some tactics here with something like rook c1, castles, and if you're not paying attention here, you can look about playing the knight to d5. And, well, let's go ahead and castle first so there's no more checks, but then you just play something like bishop d7. Now you can play this move, knight to d5 here, and you'll see that, well, if the pawn takes, now white has a big advantage here. They've actually broken through on your queen side, and this is one of the big ideas in these kind of openings. So, with that being said, I like to play the knight to b to d7 in a lot of these Sicilians, just to stop the Maroczy hop. And here, castles happen. Pawn to f3, it's a very, very solid structure here. A lot of times, black is going to be playing for the break of either d5 or b5. And a pawn break is simply that. All we're trying to do is put our pawns up to break here, or on d5 or b5 to open up the game. But here, I'm just going to be developing my pieces nice and normally. b6, queen to d2. Bishop b7, rook f to c1. I don't think this is where the rook belongs, although there is a plan with this one that's very good. He doesn't really finish off this idea. Rook a c8, pawn to b4, rook to e8, and believe it or not, I'm still in my opening prep, and I played this really fast, probably with, below 2 or 3 minutes. And I think he took a little bit more time. Again, I wouldn't say this is his opening. He's a very aggressive chess player, but he was definitely trying to position a route this time, which did work out for quite a while. All right, knight to a4. Here a little picking on the b6 pawn. Queen to b8. It seems like a weird move here, but a lot of times you're looking to play this d5 or b5, like I said. So this rook opposite of it, well, the queen's kind of in the way here. So the queen just goes back to b8, keeping an eye on d6, and maybe even on b6 in some of these variations. But the big idea is to try and push for d5. All right, king went to h1. Again, filler moves over here. Bishop to f8. A nice move here which opens up the rook, which is important in most of the variations. Knight to b3. And then here I missed my first opportunity. It's black to move. What do you play here to get an equal position? Alright, hopefully you push pause. We'll be trying to figure this out. What's the move here? Believe it or not, it's to play pawn to d5. And this is exactly what I was aiming for. The only reason why I didn't do this was because, with this last move, the b6 pawn is being under attack. And, well, when you play d5, well, don't you lose a pawn? Well, the truth is you do, but you don't, because you'll get plenty of compensation if the pawn is taken. With that being said, here white's best line is to go ahead and play pawn takes, bishop to f4, attacking my queen, rook takes, and queen to a8. And here I've got full compensation for this position. I am a little bit binded here, but it's not so bad. It's roughly about equal. Again, if you do try to go pawn grabbing back here, like let's say knight takes on b6, this doesn't really work out, because after knight takes, bishop takes, well, you simply just take on e4, and you can see here, well, there's definitely some things gone wrong here. The position was closed, and now I have opened it up completely, and that's the whole plan here. Going back to the game, after knight b3, I wasn't feeling that trustworthy in this, and so I went ahead and played bishop a8, just simply defending the b6 pawn. And already it gives white that advantage again. And well, he played rook a b1, and now I played d5, but this time it was not the best. Luckily for me, my opponent did not play the best move here and played an interesting move with pawn to e5. All right, here's your second question. Do we take with the knight or do we take with the queen? You pretty much have to take this pawn, but one of them is definitely better than the other one. All right, hopefully you took a look. Here, hopefully you did not play knight takes on e5, as after knight takes on b6, you're going to lose your pawn back immediately. And also, well, you're going to get into a little bit of trouble here too. With that being said, the correct way to play here was queen takes on e5. And well, the knight can take here on b6. Again, this is not going to be preferred, as after knight takes, bishop takes. Here at the end, well, we got some good ideas here with taking on c4, or as the computer likes to play, bishop to d6, looking at checkmating ideas. And here it can be a little bit iffy for white already. But the point is that counterplay has been made here, and the game is becoming positionally equal. So in the game, he went ahead and played bishop f4, which was a really interesting idea. He really has gambited a pawn here. The problem for me is that, well, my queen can get trapped in some variations, but basically it's going to be forced over to the king side. This typically would be a good idea, but its piece play is so strong, it's really kind of hard to do anything over here, especially start a kingside attack. So it's really just defense mode for me, which I know Don just loves to attack, so this is definitely a good opportunity for him. Queen to h5, pawn to c5, the best move. Of course, taking on d5, I would have been very, very happy. Make some trades because, well, I'm up in material. Rook takes, and then you can either play bishop takes on d5 or knight takes on d5, even queen takes d5. All these moves are going to give me a good position here. With that being said, Don plays the best move, pawn to c5 here, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, my queen side is very, very weak. The a6 pawn's weak, the b6 pawn's weak. Here I played the only move I could see, which was pawn to b5. Not only to attack the knight, but really to stop the pawn on a6 from falling. And here Don's just being mean to me, and he plays knight to d4. And I have to be very, very careful here because there's many variations about trapping my queen. For instance, after b takes on a4, well, here Don could go ahead and try to trap my queen with something like pawn to g4. And then I realize I can't play queen to h3 here as well. Oof, don't you just play bishop to f1, queen to h4, and bishop to g5. And here, well, this is the queen is just trapped here. With that being said, in all these variations, I had miscalculated. There's one move in every variation that is just going to help me out here. For instance, if the queen goes to g6 here, the bishop went to d3. Do you see the move here for black to break through? Here it was knight to e4, a move I had not considered. Mind you, you have to think about 8 moves ahead, so it's a little hard to see these. These things get a little bit cloudy. But after pawn takes, so here you realize, well, you just opened up on the king. And these kind of piece sacrifices can be hard to see, obviously, at least for me. So back to the game. I did not test him after this move. I just went ahead and played pawn to e5 here. Again, I'm forced win of a piece here, and I give my queen a little breathing room. And here he surprised me again with the strongest move in the position. Pawn to c6. 3 pieces are hanging, yet he does not care about it at all. B takes on a4. Bishop takes on a6. Here he does not care about the piece again. He's just going ahead and attacking over here. His idea is to get some passed pawns rolling, and it was actually kind of hard to figure out how to defend over here on the queen side. And, well, I did not play the best move here. I played rook c7, which is a decent enough move, but not the best here. Bishop to g3, knight to b8 here, attacking both c6 and on a6, bishop to b5, and then here, well, at this point I think he's made a mistake. Now I could just play my rook over to c8 here, and now either the c6 pawn falls, or I can just take on d4 with the knight. With that being said, I do believe bishop takes a4 was the best move, even though I can go ahead and take the knight. He's got these passed pawns. This could be a little bit hard. The minors are getting a little trapped over here, and it's actually kind of hard to organize my pieces. But he went ahead and played bishop b2. I think this was done for some f4 ideas, and now, well, it's just snack attack. Here we go. Pawn takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Here, queen f4, a nice tricky move here. The idea being, if rook to c8, oh gosh, things can get a little bad here. Pawn to c7. Here, if the knight moves, like let's say to d7, here bishop to a6 comes in, and well, again, there's trouble on the horizon. So with that being said, I found this nice defense. Here we play on the dark squares, knight to e8, defending on c7, but also threatening this nice move of bishop to d6. Here he did not fall for it though. He went ahead and played queen takes on d4, knight takes on c6, queen to f2, rook to e7. I would say things get a little bit messy here. With that being said, we were both getting low on time. I would say underneath 10 minutes. Pawn to b5, past pawns must be pushed. And here I go for the activity. Trying to defend here on the queen side would be a little difficult, so let's head toward the king side. Knight to e5, rook to b4, bishop to b7, just moving the bishop back here, guarding the c8 or the back rank, but then also trying to blockade the pawn in the future. With that being said, I missed that the pawn was hanging completely. Here, bishop to f1, knight to g6, and rook takes on a4, and I was like, oh no, now there's two passed pawns coming, and this position is definitely starting to get complicated. Knight to d6, rook to b4, rook to e6, pawn to a4, knight to e5, queen to a7, and here, well, what do you play? Here I was able to play knight to c4 here. Here everything is guarded, and I'm able to start pushing back. And this square is actually very nice because as you can see, it's actually controlling a lot of the squares for the pawns to move forward. And this is a good way to blockade. Although, I'm not going to lie, right now I'm looking for a lot of kingside attacking ideas. a5, here comes the passed pawns, and here rook h6, I finally am able to coordinate my pieces for an attack on the king side. With that being said, the game is not over yet. h2 is just one weakness that I'm attacking, and here we played pawn h3. Definitely something I want. I want these pawns to stop moving forward so I can go ahead and attack them. Alright, rook to g6 over here. Mostly a bluff move, not a very good move. But here I got lucky, and he played bishop takes on c4. Why is this good for me? Because now I have to take back with the pawn, but this opened up the bishop now to attack the king. And unfortunately for him, he played rook to b1, and well, it is now forced checkmate in 4 moves. With that being said, I saw the 1 in 5, so can you find a way? Black to move, can you attack this king? Alright, hopefully push pause to try to figure it out. Here you have, well, the strongest move was rook takes on g2, king takes, queen takes on f3, king h2 with queen to g2 check and mate. With that being said, I played the 5-move checkmate, and I played bishop takes on f3, but obviously rook takes was just much more stronger. Here queen to d7 got played, guarding on h3, and here I played bishop takes on g2 check, king to h2, queen e5 check, and at this point he went ahead and threw in the towel as well. There's lots of different ways to win here. I'm not gonna lie, I did mess up the 4-move checkmate, and well, regardless of what happened, I was able to win this game. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Remember, this was a game for the Maroczy bind, and talking about the critical squares and actually keeping your cool during the game, especially because it's so complicated. Alright, guys, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next video.